In this video, we're going to take a look at normals. Now, a normal determines how light reflects off of a surface. And we want our normals to typically be perpendicular to the surface that we are reflecting light off of. Polygon objects have two different types of normals. We have face normals and we have vertex normals. We're going to first take a look at the face normal. I'm going to select my object here. And now to turn my face normals on, I'll go to Display, Polygons, Face Normals. And now these green lines here represent the normal of the surface. Now notice that the normal is perpendicular to the surface. This gives us a nice soft rendered look to the surface itself. Now the face normal simply determines which direction the face is bouncing light off of. By default here, they're all pointing out, so we get a normal shaded looking object. A face normal is either facing forward or back facing. Right now, the bird, all of its normals are facing forward. If I were to select a face, let's grab this one right here, I could reverse the normal. To do so, I'll go to Normals and choose Reverse. Now that face is reversed, the normal is now pointing inside, and you can clearly see a difference in how it's reflecting light. Now we have a couple of different ways within our viewport that we can see which way the normals are facing. So we already saw that we can turn Display Normals on, and we get those green lines there. But we can also go to Shading and check Backface Culling. And what this will do is turn off any back faces so that we can't see them. By default, Maya will render the back faces, whether we're in the viewport or we're doing a software render. So with Backface Culling turned on, those faces can no longer be seen when they're flipped. If I were to zoom into my object and move around in here, we can see that there is the front of my face. Now I'm inside the crow surface. Let's uncheck Backface Culling. And another thing that we can do is go under Lighting and uncheck Two-Sided Lighting. This way, we can still see the face, but now we can see that light is not allowed to hit both sides. So this face that is a back face cannot receive any of the light, therefore it shows up as a very dark face. Let's select that face again, and I'll go to Normals, and I'll choose Reverse to flip that back the other way. Now, it still looks like it was flipped. Clearly, the normal is facing out. I'm going to turn that two-sided lighting back on. That has no effect to this, because what has happened is now that I have hardened the edges around that face. I'm going to select those edges, and I want to soften them so that we get back to a normal-looking surface. We'll soften those edges, and that irons them out. Now, what we have done there is manipulated the vertex normal. Apart from our face normals, let's turn those off, we also have the vertex normal. The vertex normal alters the visual smoothness between our faces. By changing the angle, you can make the face look hard or soft. That's basically changing the transition between faces. So if we wanted to add a bit more of a creased look under the crow's wing, I could select the edges and choose Harden Edge. And let's just go to Object. Now I have a much harder edge there, whereas on the other side, I have a nice smooth transition. And we've affected the vertex normal. Now we can do this by selecting edges, but we can also manually go in to the vertices themselves and affect them. switch to Object here, and we'll select that, and I'll go to Normals, and we have the Vertex Normal Edit tool. I'll click on this, and that will turn on all of my vertex normals. And then I'll select a single vertex, and then I have a rotate manipulator that allows me to affect that normal's position. So I can rotate that, which then changes the angle at which light reflects off of the surface. And we can grab a group of vertices and alter all of them at the same time. Let's go to Object, and we'll back out of that tool. And we also have the Set Vertex Normal, which will change all of the vertex normals to a specified value. I'm just going to reset that. We'll just set that to 1, and we'll choose Set Normal. And now all of my normals are facing the same direction. Therefore, the surface receives light uniformly. To put this back, I need to unlock my normals first. Whenever we use the Set Vertex Normal, it jumps here and locks those normals into position. So I'm going to choose Unlock Normals just to get that to go back. And if I want to get rid of that crease there at the wing, I can choose to soften all of the geometry all at once by selecting the object, choose Normals, and choose Soften Edge. And likewise, we can also harden all of those normals all at the same time. And now we get a faceted look, basically with all of my vertex normals being hard. Now with all of our history, we get a separate node. Notice that we get a poly soft node for both of these. So this one here was where I softened the normal. This one here was where I hardened it. I can click on that and see the angle is set to 180 degrees. That's going to be completely soft. Or here, hardened at 0. I can go ahead and just interactively manipulate this, and we can raise this back up to make our object soft again. And if I delete the history, that'll then get rid of all of those nodes.